All right, let's talk throttle response cam. So your throttle body came with this type of kind of like an arm throttle, and when you press on the gas pedal, as you can tell here, you see how much play there is before it engages. So when you're shifting gears, you probably have a good 1.5 to 2 seconds before you actually get some gas, some push on there. That being said, when you install this, the response time shortens between the engagement and the actual gas to the throttle body. So it's, some people say, oh yeah, this can improve some horsepower or like that, and there's some, I can hear debate in forums and stuff, but it really is just for added off the line benefit. So I want to see, a lot of people say it gives it a nice little pep when you have it, because it kicks in, so you're not 2 seconds late off the line there too. So it's not an increase in horsepower, but since you're able to really engage the gas, the clutch, and really kick it off the line, I mean, good second faster isn't bad. And that's estimated efforts from what I've read and kind of seen. But regardless, we're going to be installing this guy here, and it really just a 13mm nut right there. And then on the early cars, in the firewall, you're going to have the adjustments right there for the slack. I don't know if you can kind of see them down there. And it's two 13mm nuts as well that's going to allow you to do that. And my understanding is if some people have actually snapped this line because they didn't do it with some slack, so you don't want that much slack, but you do want some so that it engages. So we're going to give it a try here. Once you've removed the old one, again, it was just a 13mm nut. It just slides right off. You grab the new throttle cam, you slide it there, and that is inside of it right there. That's pretty much it. Now see all the slack that you got there? We're going to be adjusting that here in the next video, but right now that guy goes on. And this part right here, man, I couldn't get a definite answer on. However, luckily there is a quick little video on how to do it, because if you do too much, you're going to actually change your idle. So let's go ahead and do it based on it. And my understanding is that's pretty much it. That's all it needs. All right, and now to get rid of the slack again, we're going to be adjusting the 13mm bolts and pulling this a little bit further back, just a tad. Adjustment that's what I was talking about. So you have the one in the firewall here, the one in the back that kind of holds it in place. This will secure the distance here. Now, I'm a little bit worried about that distance, but it seems like I had more than enough because I came out and then I backed it up just a little bit. But we will see how that works. So now the only thing left to do is just to hold that one there and then just tighten it to the frame. And then that will lock this into place. And I thought it was gonna be a lot harder to get to, but you just move the clips up a little bit, took off the little zip tie that was there, and I was able to get final adjustments. And you'll notice the little sprocket that I did there just as a visual. So now we have to go and adjust the stop or the depth that the gas pedal presses in. All right, now reason being, sorry about that, is every time you press the pedal, okay, the pedal has a certain amount of play from top to bottom. When it gets to the end, this cable, okay, has pulled the throttle cam as far as it rotates. So let's say this is where it starts, this little guy here. So when you press the pedal and you go all the way to the bottom, boom, it pulls it down to the end there. All right, so now that it's at its end, at its stopping point, that's not gonna move. The stopper is gonna hold it. This guy is pretty solid, so that's not gonna move. So if there's any more pressure on this cable, eventually that cable will snap. So what we have to do is we have to make sure that when this reaches almost the end of its rotation, the gas pedal is at the bottom. Okay, so there's a stopper behind the pedal. I'm gonna show you the screw that you have to back out. And as you back it out, you're kind of playing with it. And what I did is, I went and I sat down and I pressed the pedal, and then as soon as I heard this click here, I had the door open, kind of sticking my head out. As soon as I heard, gauge more or less how far the gas pedal could go down. Then I backed out the stopper until when I hit the gas pedal, this was at the end of its rotation. Then I knew the gas pedal at the bottom and the rotation of the cam were identical. Okay, so gas pedal's not going to go any further, and this is right at the end. Once that's done, then you give it the final slack. You loosen it just a little bit more. I know we did in the previous ones, that's just to dial in a little bit more. But what we did now is when, we're going to pretend again that's it. When this gets to the end, that means the gas pedal can't go any further, okay? The throttle cam should still be able to go maybe a quarter of an inch, you know, I don't know if you want to set it for an eighth inch, but I set mine to go about a quarter of an inch more. And that tells me that even with the gas pedal pressed all the way to the bottom, the cable is still not going to get pulled any more than it has to, because this has stopped, the gas pedal's at the bottom, and this is just slightly loose. That's where I want it, and hopefully that makes sense to a couple of you. In other words, we made sure that no matter how hard I press on that gas pedal, that cable will not be at full tension. And here is how you adjust that. It's actually pretty simple. I want to say it's a 19mm socket, screw there. And you see that? And I did it with my hand, that's why I'm not too sure. But when I press the pedal, even if I'm at the very bottom and it's hitting it, so it can't go anymore, the throttle cam has reached almost the end of its rotation. So I slam that pedal, it doesn't matter. The throttle cam will not get to its end of its rotation, which means the tension on that cable is going to be almost at its max, at about 95% max, what it was intended to do. If you do not make this adjustment and you keep just using the throttle cam to stop the gas pedal and don't bring that back, you will eventually snap that cable, because there's going to be nothing but tension every single time. You're just yanking on it. This ensures that there is minimal tension going to that cable. So I hope that makes sense. Maybe watch this a few more times and share and have everybody like it as well. If it made sense to you, and I hope it did. But if you're installing one of these, I hear it is a great add-on. I've been wanting to do this for quite some time. This guy has literally been sitting up in my shelf for a couple of years. Again, I didn't want to make any final mods without stabilizing it, and now that we have, I'm pretty happy to do that. So, final video on the throttle response cam. I'm gonna put the link as to where you can buy one of these. I'm not sure if that's the only place. Regardless, I'm definitely gonna put that on there. So, but you can just do a search, maybe find a good deal. Great add-on. Hopefully this made sense. Again, forgive my ramblings, the ramblings of a shade tree mechanic. You have a good one now.